Trump is now a wartime president. And I'm not talking about Syria. I'm talking about the deep state. I'm talking about the Democrats and the never-Trumpers. They have declared war on the Trump administration. And I want you to understand what happened yesterday afternoon. What happened yesterday at the offices of the president's personal attorney was nothing more than an attempt to destroy, to take down Donald Trump. That's what this is all about. We're going to talk about all of this today. Welcome to the program. Great to have you along, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. Not a lot of time to do it. We're going to take your telephone calls as well, because the president and his people, they need to hear from you. They need to glean from you what they ought to be doing moving forward, because it's a mess. And we are looking at a minefield, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some great guests coming your way. Dan Gaynor is going to be here from the Family Research Council, the Media Research Center. Dan Gaynor is going to analyze the media coverage, what happened last night. Also, Mercedes Schlapp from the White House is going to join us this hour. So we'll get to that in a little bit later. In the meantime, the telephone number, 888-788-9910. That's 888-788-9910. The website, ToddStarnShow.com. Folks, it's not looking good. I'm going to be honest with you. The president is in for the fight of his life here. You say, Todd, it sounds a little too hyperbolic today. Yeah, well, take a listen to Steve Schmidt, a so-called Republican on MSNBC just yesterday.
I thought what we saw today was extremely disturbing. We see Donald Trump sitting there with his arms crossed like a dime store Mussolini, saying that an attack on the country is what is the result of a legally executed search warrant on his private attorney. And what he really means there is that anything that endangers him, politically or otherwise, legally, is in fact an attack on the country, that the leader and the country are synonymous.
A dime store Mussolini. That's Steve Schmidt. By the way, I want to tell you about this dirtbag. This is the guy who ran John McCain's presidential campaign. This is the guy who verbally beat up Sarah Palin. And who is his accomplice, his little sidekick? Yet Nicole Wallace. They're all over there. MSNBC is infested with these people. This guy's a jerk. But to go out there on national television and to suggest that Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is a dime store Mussolini, now you understand what kind of people John McCain associates with. And I know we're not supposed to talk about John McCain because he's got brain cancer. Yeah, well, you know what? That doesn't give John McCain a free pass. He's out there attacking this president, trying to undermine this president. He doesn't get a pass for that. And these minions that John McCain unleashed, by the way, in the mainstream media, that's unacceptable. Again, Steve Schmidt.
That just goes to show the degree to which Donald Trump doesn't understand the United States of America. And it's because the United States of America is a nation of laws, where the rule of law prevails, and no person, even the president, is above the law.
Well, no one says the president is above the law. That's simply a bunch of grade A fertilizer, if you will. But the president is right. What happened yesterday, and really this entire sham of an investigation, it's a joke, and it's a disgrace. Here's the president.
It's a disgraceful situation. It's a total witch hunt. I've been saying it for a long time. I've wanted to keep it down. We've given, I believe, over 1 million pages worth of documents to the special counsel. And I have this witch hunt constantly going on for over 12 months now. And it's a disgrace. It's frankly a real disgrace. It's an attack on our country in a true sense. It's an attack on what we all stand for.
Now, I want to go back to that last little bit that the president said about this being an attack on the country. What did he mean by that? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you understand something. Listeners of this radio program, understand this. they're attacking Donald Trump so ferociously because they can't come after you. This is really about you. They want to punish you for electing Donald Trump. They want to punish you for going against the establishment. That's what this is all about. Again, Donald Trump.
This is the most biased group of people. These people have the biggest conflicts of interest I've ever seen. Democrats, all, or just about all, either Democrats or a couple of Republicans that worked for President Obama. They're not looking at the other side. They're not looking at the Hillary Clinton horrible things that she did and all of the crimes that were committed. They're not looking at all of the things that happened.
Hillary Rodham Clinton left people to die in Benghazi. They don't care about that. That's okay. Folks, the swamp is a very dangerous place to be. And when you try to clean out the swamp creatures, they fight back. And it's an ugly thing that's happening here. I hope that you are outraged over what happened. The president is disgusted. He was angry yesterday. Oh, by the way, did you see the mainstream media coverage? I was watching CNN. They had to go to a commercial break to give Wolf Blitzer oxygen. I mean, it was that they were on the edge of their seats, and it was I was humored. There was one moment when all of the panelists on CNN, the most perverse name in news, they were on the edge of their seats, and they were saying, when is the president going to respond? OMG, he hasn't responded yet. Why hasn't the president responded? And then all of a sudden, we got the breaking news that the president was going to respond. He took a few questions in the meeting there with his generals. And then we go back to CNN, and the same panel that was on the edge of their seats, they were like, OMG, how could the president respond? How could the president do something like that? And they wonder why people don't trust the mainstream media. I mean, these people are nuts. So anyway, I want to go back to this investigation for just a moment. Can we all agree on? I believe we can all agree on a central truth at this point, at this juncture in American history, based on what we now know. The Russia collusion investigation is over. There was no collusion. Out of all the people that have been arrested and charged, no one's been charged with colluding with the Russians. And by the way, can I point out this little inconvenient truth for you? No one's accused the president of any wrongdoing. Not one thing. But they're looking. They're looking. So I'm not surprised that Mr. Mueller has decided to go rogue and focus on Miss Stormy Daniels, taking a turn around that stripper pole. Miss Daniels, by the way, and again, facts matter here, she has accused the president not of collusion, but of cavorting. There's a difference. Not that it matters, though, because it really doesn't matter, because Mr. Mueller is free to investigate whatever the heck he wants to investigate. Did you hear the rumors that, back in the 80s, Donald J. Trump apparently parked his limo right in front of a fire hydrant? Did you hear about that rumor? Because Mr. Mueller could investigate that rumor if he wanted to. He can investigate whatever he wants to. Makes no difference. It doesn't matter. If it has nothing to do with Russia, it doesn't matter. You say, Tom, what are you talking about? Go back to the Ken Starr investigation. What was that about? Whitewater, the real estate deals. But what did it turn into? It turned into Bill Clinton doing inappropriate things with an intern in the Oval Office. So the question now is, what is the president's next move? And that's going to be the question for you, the callers of this great radio program. What is the president's next move?
Why don't I just fire Mueller? Well, I think it's a disgrace what's going on. We'll see what happens. But I think it's really a sad situation when you look at what happened. And many people have said you should fire him. Again, They found nothing. And in finding nothing, that's a big statement.
They found absolutely nothing. Maybe the guy ought to be given the heave-ho. I don't think that's going to happen, though, because that'll bring down the wrath of not just the Democrats, but also the Republicans. Here's Senator Chuck Grassley.
I have confidence in Mueller. The president ought to have confidence in Mueller. And I think, to answer your question, it would be suicide for the president to want to talk about firing Mueller. The less the president said on this whole thing, the better off he would be, the stronger his presidency would be.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, this Mueller guy is bad news. Bad news. Grassley says if the president goes ahead and pulls the trigger on Mueller and fires him, it's going to be trouble.
I think that maybe Mueller coming to a dead end as far as collusion of Trump with Russia in this election, and it looks like a dead end. Maybe Mueller would appreciate being fired, so he would have an excuse for getting out of it, and the Democrats would have a good issue in this upcoming election.
It's all disgusting, isn't it? Are you disgusted by what you have seen happen in Washington, D.C.? I mean, this has been open warfare on Donald Trump from day one. Oh, by the way, Chuck Schumer is he's talking now. He found the microphones, and he's going after the president. By the way, he says, "Oh, this is not an attack on me."
With due respect, President Trump, America has been around for over 2.5 centuries. An investigation of your personal attorney is not an attack on our country. The Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor was an attack on our country. 9/11 was an attack on our country. When Russia interfered with our elections, that was an attack on our country. Investigating your personal lawyer with a high standard to be met is certainly not an attack on our country.
By the way, he left something out here. The presidency of Barack Hussein Obama, that was an attack on our country. The man all but admitted it when he said he wanted to fundamentally transform America. That's exactly what he did. I'm disgusted by this, ladies and gentlemen. What we have seen here, this is the poison fruit of the Obama administration, where the FBI, the IRS, the Department of Justice, they were all weaponized to take out the president. That's what's happening here. All right, they're yelling at me to take a break. 888-788-9910. Wow, we do need to take a break. 888-788-9910. ToddStarnsShow.com, the website. We'll be right back.
It's the Todd Starnes Radio Show. Do you have an idea for an event?
Get on.
The president is thinking of using this raid to fire Special Counsel Mueller or otherwise interfere with the chain of command in the Russia probe. We have one simple message for him. Don't even think about it.
Ooh, don't even think about it. We'll sick Pelosi on you. Look, Chuck Schumer, the establishment Republicans, the never Trumpers, they're all in cahoots, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, it's a swamp. And they've got some dark swamp creatures that are lurking out there. This is ugly stuff, ugly stuff. I'm going to tell you exactly what we need to do. But first, this is exactly what President Trump needs to do. But first, I want to go to Richard, Hagerstown, Maryland. He's been holding on for a while. WARK. Richard, what's your advice for the president here?
Todd, thank you for taking my call. Straightforward advice, and it would work in any situation where there's an investigation like this. Mr. Mueller, take all the time in the world that you need to complete this investigation, but wrap it up in the next 90 days. Have your report on my desk or to Congress 30 days thereafter. When I was in private business, we would investigate employee wrongdoing. We didn't take forever. We usually took about 2 weeks, and we'd reach a decision. Then we'd have to go present our fact-finding information to the president of the company, to the union, take whatever action we were going to take, and move on. This thing can't go on forever.
Well, that's the problem, Richard. I think it can, and that's a concern. I mean, aside from the fact that they're trying to destroy this president and undermine a duly elected president, I mean, the amount of money that the taxpayers are spending on this is just unbelievable.
So I don't see anything wrong with putting a time limit on it. You know, you have unlimited resources, Mr. Mueller. Get it done. Get it done.
Richard, great comments. Thanks for listening, and thanks for giving us a call. 888-788-9910, our number. That's 888-788-9910. Let's go real quick to Terry, Dodge City, Kansas, listening to us online. Hello, Terry.
Hi, Mr. Stearns. I'm calling about the FBI and their overreach, and I think Mueller's just an engine to push that issue. And I think they need to stop. He needs to be fired, and they need to be investigated. And the CIA needs to go in, handcuff him, put him in jail, and take care of the problem. You know, that's what needs to happen. We have been watching, clear up to the guys that were up in Oregon. The FBI shot a guy on that in front of the whole world and got away with it. A guy who was unarmed. And this is ridiculous. They need to leave the president alone. He's doing a good job. I believe he is. Economy is in Dodge City. It's a little rough here yet still, but things are getting better. And they were better. They're getting better than they were, I guarantee you, 4 years ago.
Well, Terry, understand this, and I thank you for your call. We're coming up on a hard break here. Terry, you need to understand something. The FBI and really the Democrats and the Never Trumpers, you have to put them all together. They want to destroy Trump because they can't go after you. They want to punish you. They want to punish every single person who voted for Donald Trump. And the way they can do that is to destroy this man. So here's my, and I will expand on my thought here as we go to break, but here's what I think needs to happen. And hang on if you're on the lines. We're going to get to your calls, I promise. Who is ultimately responsible here? Who is responsible for this mess? There's one person, ladies and gentlemen. It's the man who recused himself from the investigation in the first place. So I say at the very least, the president needs to fire the attorney general. Jeff Sessions, good man, but you're not the right man for that job. You got to go. 888-788-9910, our telephone number. That's 888-788-9910. ToddStarnsShow.com, the website. We'll be back after the news.
Todd Starnes.
This is a very dangerous day today for lawyer-client relations. I deal with clients all the time. I tell them on my word of honor that what you tell me is sacrosanct. And now they say, just based on probable cause, even though this was cooperation with Cohen, they can burst into the office, grab all the computers, and then give it to another FBI agent and say, you're the firewall. We want you now to read all these confidential communications, tell us which ones we can get and which ones we can't get.
All right. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. That was Alan Dershowitz last night on Hannity's program, Fox News Channel. On the Newsmaker line, Fox News legal analyst Mercedes Cowan. Mercedes, Alan Dershowitz very concerned here about attorney-client privilege. What do you say about what happened yesterday?
Oh, it's exactly on point. I mean, any attorney in the country would say to you, this is probably the most serious issue that could ever happen in their practice. It's exactly what Alan said. You make these guarantees to your client that every communication you have is absolutely privileged, not subject to any disclosure. I will take whatever you say to me to my grave, as long as, of course, there's not in furtherance of a crime or there's no discussion of my assistance of a crime. I mean, you're taking it out of that realm. But just simple day-to-day conversations that you have with clients, it's absolutely sacred, and there are guarantees in place. Frankly, when I heard about the raid, I was shocked. what happens in these types of scenarios, I've been representing clients for a long time, is a subpoena is issued. You take the subpoena. If the attorney is in the crosshairs of the subpoena, they're the ones that select the items that are to be produced. And if they're privileged information, you put a privilege log together and saying, I'm not able to provide the following items that may be subject to the subpoena because it's privileged. And then you log it. But to have a raid, it's every attorney's nightmare.
Mercedes, my colleague here at Fox News, Catherine Herridge, was reporting from her sources. They say that that the raid was aggressive. It was designed to squeeze the president, and they say they were rather surprised by all of this because they had been cooperating with Robert Mueller.
Well, I mean, it's all left to be seen. And whatever took place at some point will come to the surface, and there'll be a discussion about it. If there's any evidence that's been taken and it's been tainted by the raid, meaning that it was ill-gotten, then that would be something that would be argued by the attorneys for Michael Cohen. But at this point, we don't know.
Yeah, what is your gut telling you on this? Is this an attempt to squeeze Cohen for information on the president?
I mean, frankly, it was so shocking, and just about every attorney in the legal community, I'm here at a conference with lots of lawyers, we're all pretty much shocked because we don't see this on a day-to-day basis. You don't hear about attorneys' offices being raided at this level. And we're all suspecting that there may be some belief that there's some information that Michael Cohen has concerning the $130,000 pay to Stormy Daniels. These are all things that we're sort of ruminating about, but frankly, we won't know until the investigation continues. But certainly in the crosshairs of it, that $130,000 is probably one of the issues that are being looked into.
And Mercedes, not a word from the ACLU or any of these civil libertarian groups, not a word about this.
Do you know what they say? They say, what do you have when you have 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of the sea? A good start. There's not too much like out there for lawyers. Frankly, I'm not surprised, but again, we just have to, when there are going to be issues like this, when there are raids, it's a person that doesn't have a law degree, you hear a lot of issues that come up. It's certainly from the ACLU front. It might just be one of those, he's a lawyer, he knows what he was doing when he was making these types of interactions regarding Stormy Daniels, if that's the focus of the investigation.
Unbelievable. Yeah, just
so
unbelievable.
It goes down like that. But there's not too much favor when it comes to lawyers. That's why there's all these lawyer jokes.
Mercedes, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you again for coming on the program. Mercedes Cowan, ladies and gentlemen, Fox News legal analyst. By the way, Alan Dershowitz, he had an interesting take on this.
You know, if this were the shoe on the other foot, if this were Hillary Clinton being investigated and they went into her lawyer's office, the ACLU would be on every television station in America jumping up and down. The deafening silence of the ACLU and civil libertarians about the intrusion into the lawyer-client confidentiality is really appalling.
Well, it is appalling. Also appalling is Attorney General Jeff Sessions for just letting this entire episode just completely unravel. It's out of control. The president talked about this yesterday.
The Attorney General made a terrible mistake when he did this and when he recused himself, or he should have certainly let us know if he was going to recuse himself, and we would have put a different Attorney General in. So he made what I consider to be a very terrible mistake for the country. But you'll figure that out.
Well, no, actually, Mr. President, you need to figure that one out. He's got to go. I mean, Jeff Sessions has to go. How much more could he possibly screw this up talking about Jeff Sessions? 888-788-9910, our telephone number. That's 888-788-9910. Let's go to Richard, listening to us on Sirius XM, channel 450, Lexington, North Carolina. Welcome to the program, Richard.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll speak as quick as I can. I am an ex-federal investigator for the U.S. military, now totally and permanently disabled. And you're right, Sessions needs to go. Investigations are very specific. This one is so broad, it's ridiculous. More importantly, what they're doing with the president is wrong. They're disrespecting him. basically they're still trying to treat him like Mr. Donald Trump, the businessman, instead of remembering he is the president, the commander-in-chief, and he is also the person who represents the office of the presidency. The problem is they just absolutely hate the idea that there's an outsider in the office instead of one of those their cronies inside the Beltway.
Richard, to your point, Victoria Tonsing was on Fox News Channel last night, and I want you to listen to what she said, again, to your point that they're not showing Donald Trump proper respect.
Mueller and his gang have weaponized the criminal justice system. These no-knock raids that were done on his personal lawyer's house and offices, those are kinds of tactics reserved for dope dealers and for terrorists. I know. I used to be a narcotics prosecutor.
I mean, she's got a great point there, Richard, and you do as well. And I think this goes back to this idea that the Democrats and the never-Trumpers, these establishment types, they refuse to recognize that Donald Trump is the duly elected president of the United States.
That's correct. And I also believe the lady is completely right when it came to investigations. They are very specific, and those tactics are reserved for, I agree, dope dealers, fraudsters, people who are, just basically, the dirt of the earth, and, wasting their time on our president is just showing their, their poor attitude and their, it's just showing that they're complete disrespect.
Richard, a terrific telephone call. Great observations. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate that. 888-788-9910, our number. That's 888-788-9910. I wanted to play some, again, this demonstrates the never-Trumpers and their hatred of Trump. I want to go to Chris Christie, who's been on the channels. Boy, he's just like the darling of the mainstream media now. I mean, the love affair between Chris Christie and the mainstream media is just like Chris Christie and Barack Obama walking arm in arm along the beach there in Jersey. Here's Chris Christie.
Does he understand what firing Robert Mueller would mean?
I think he does. But I think that what John just said is right. I mean, I think the president is really angry about this and expressed that yesterday. I think he does understand it. But I think there's lots of people who are concerned that, his reaction to this may overcome what he's already been told. Trigger? Well, that's a big problem. It's a big problem. And I've told him that. I mean, you can't fire the special counsel. You just can't.
I don't know about that. I mean, I know that it would be a nuclear-like event in politics. But I say at this point, what does the president have to lose? Because you don't know where this guy is going to go. You just don't know where this guy is going to go next. But the Republicans are saying, hey, don't go there, Mr. President. Don't go there. Here is Mark Meadows. He was on Fox and Friends. Mark Meadows, a member of the House Freedom Caucus. He's the chairman of that group.
I sent a letter to the Attorney General outlining 10 redactions of material facts, not just names here or there, but material facts that the DOJ and FBI are hiding from Congress. And when that happens, enough is enough. Let's get the documents. Let's do it this week. And if this Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General can't do it, let's find two who will.
Amen. Amen. Preach it, Congressman Meadows. He's absolutely right. It's time to put a stop to this nonsense. All right, let's go to Candy, listening to us on Sirius XM Channel 450 in the great state of Florida. Hello, Candy.
Todd, hi. I agree with you 100%. I am so tired of this. And if he does fire Mueller and maybe a few other people too, it'll die down. It'll die down after a while. And what's going to become of it? Nothing. There's nothing they can prove. There's nothing they can say. So I agree with you.
Candy, thanks for the telephone call. Yeah, look, I mean, there will be a lot of yelling and screaming and gnashing of teeth within the mainstream media, but I don't think it's going to matter all that much to the average American. You know, the bigger issue here is, what are the Republicans going to do? Will they turn on President Trump? And I suspect they will. And that's where all of you folks come in handy, because they're going to have to hear from us. All right, folks, we've got to take a break. More of your calls coming up. 888-788 Research Center. He's going to analyze a lot of the media coverage around this raid, this FBI raid from yesterday. Also, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook is going to be testifying before Congress. We're hoping to dip into some of that live, so we'll take you live to Capitol Hill for Zuckerberg. Apparently, a lot of people are unfriending Zuckerberg up there, and Ben Evansky, our Fox News UN guy. The UN is prepared to. They're taking a vote on Syria, and we're going to get the latest from Ben in the next hour. So here's, and again, here's my concern about where we are right now with this Russia collusion investigation. The president needs to call in the attorney general and say, yes or no. They found collusion, yes or no. If the answer is yes, then investigate and prosecute. If the answer is no, then you cut Robert Mueller a check and you say, thanks for your help and see you later. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. But as it stands now, this investigation is going to go on forever. Let's go to the phone lines. 888-788-9910. That's 888-788-9910. Tom, listening to us online from St. Louis. Hello, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Okay, I think that Jeff Sessions should resign.
Tom, hold on a second here. Do me a favor. Reach over and just turn your radio down, or whatever you're listening to us on. Just turn that down, because you'll hear a lot of feedback. Are you back with us now, Tom? All right, we've got Tom back. Go ahead, Tom.
Yes, I think that Jeff Sessions should resign, and then that had one right below him. He should resign, because I don't know if you realize that his wife is married to the whole damn cesspool up there, and then Trump should be able to start over again, and that is my opinion. You go ahead.
Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate you letting me chat a little bit here, and thanks for the telephone call. Rod Rosenstein, look, I have no problems with him getting the heave-ho as well. I mean, the whole lot of them, folks. What a mess that is. President made a big, big, big mistake by putting Jeff Sessions in as the Attorney General. And it's got to be fixed, because Sessions, I don't know what he's doing. Honest to goodness, folks, I don't know what the man's doing. Good man, but he's not the right man for that job. So we'll see how the president plays this out. But this is, folks, you need to understand what the end game here is. They want to take out this guy. They want to take out the president. That's what this is all about. Again, Steve Schmidt.
And I think if you listen closely tonight, you can hear the faint applause from heaven of this country's founding fathers, who bequeathed to us a nation where the rule of law is supreme. We are a nation of laws. We are not a banana republic.
Somebody should have told that to the last administration. I mean, this guy, Sleaze right here, Sleaze Schmidt, that's what we're going to call him from now on, Sleaze Schmidt from over at MSNBC. And I don't want you to, by the way, you can kind of figure out who people are by their friends, the folks they surround themselves with. I want you to think about this. The BFFs of John McCain, Ted Kennedy, who drove a car off of a bridge, let some poor girl drown, and Sleaze Schmidt, the guy who ran his campaign. Those are the people that John McCain likes to pal around with. It says a lot about John McCain, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Just want to throw that out there for you. Real quick, let's go to the phones. Joe's been holding on for a while. Ella J, Georgia, our good friend. Hello, Joe.
Todd, you're great. We love your show in Ella J. Mueller and Rosenstein need to be fired. They're anti-Trump. They're Democrat. Trump's got enough on his plate without having to deal with that kind of negative stuff. So I agree with what you said. Let's get them both fired and start anew.
Joe, you don't think the folks there in North Georgia would have too much of a problem if the president did that?
None whatsoever. I mean, my county, Ella J, went 83% for Trump. I think it'd go 90% today. He's the most popular president in my lifetime. So no, I don't think so, Todd.
Joe, appreciate you calling in, and thanks for listening to the show. By the way, I've got to brag on Joe for a minute. I was listening to Hannity's show the other day, and who is on the line? Joe from Ella J, Georgia, talking to my good friend Sean Hannity. So it was a terrific call too. So Joe, we really appreciate you listening to us, and thanks for giving us a call. All right, folks, that music means we've got to scoot out of here. We're going to continue talking about this, and I am curious, what do you think we ought to do here? What do you think the president ought to do? Should he fire Mueller? Should he fire Rosenstein? Should he fire Jeff Sessions? What should he do? 888-788-9910. That's 888-788-9910. ToddStarnsShow.com is the website. Hang around. We'll be right back, folks.
Dana Perino.
I think that trust is becoming the most important factor in news.
Harris Faulkner.
Our responsibility is to ask the questions that are difficult and to demand answers of those people who are in power.
With the experience I've had in working at the White House, I think I'm better able to understand what's going on behind the scenes.
I'm part of that machinery at Fox News that works so hard to make sure that you not just know it first, but that you know it correctly.
On Fox News Channel,